It is Wednesday, my dudes.
Welcome to another episode of Wednesday Toast, a podcast about comic book stuff where we talk about all kinds of comic book related stuff. My name is Lex, also known as Wednesday Pool, and I'm here with my co-host Simon, widely known as Simon on Toast.
Yeah, don't say the other nickname.
Yeah, that would not go well. As Simon on Toast on the interwebs. Simon, what's going on, man?
On this side of the interwebs, not the dark web. I'm known as other names on the dark webs.
Yeah, you got to sign up for our OnlyFans if you want to know about that version of Simon.
Yeah, I got nice feet.
What's up, man? What's been going on with you?
Not a lot, dude. Just you know how it goes, spending a bunch of money that I shouldn't be spending.
I do know how it goes
on stupid collectible stuff. I think it's funny.
You can't take it with you, man.
That's true, and I'm actively trying not to take it with me. It's kind of funny. I saw somebody's post the other day, and they were like, trying to do my yearly Marvel Legends purge. I'm like, as someone who does buy things like on a whim sometimes,
yeah,
only to get rid of them. Usually like Marvel Legends and Black Series and stuff. But like I'll buy like, a couple. G.I. Joes are probably like my number one thing that I shouldn't buy because they just sit back there on the shelf. But they're cool.
Do you have Duke?
I don't have Duke. I have to Duke, but I don't have Duke.
I want Duke. Shout out to Skybound. They're putting out a really good Duke book right
now. Is that one that you read on the toilet? Anyway.
Yeah.
that was
that was a good one.
No, I don't have Duke. I should get him. Super 7 put out one, but
I saw that.
I'm not really digging on their figures right now. Anyway, my point is to say it's funny to buy a bunch of stuff because this guy was like digging through like 30 or 40 figures. It's funny to buy a bunch of stuff just to be like, I'll get rid of it later. Yeah. It's like you're renting. That's what one of my buddies online says that. It's like McFarlane toys. He rents McFarlane toys. He'll buy them, look at them, throw them in the sell pile.
It's like, oh my gosh.
Skip that.
And that's, you've heard that plan, that online plan of like being a creator or, being a creator where you have to only have 1,000 true fans, like super fans that would buy anything you put out. And that's what those people are. They're like super fans for Marvel and DC. And they will just, if it comes out, they're going to buy the entire wave. Even if they don't care about the characters, they're going to put it together. And like you said, they're just going to sell it in a year so they can do it all over again. It sounds insane, but I mean, I buy comic books. Like I've collected Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man, since the early 90s. Never miss an issue. And I don't genuinely enjoy the story right now. Like it's fine.
Yeah.
Right? But it's not like I'm racing to the store to get it. I'm just like, well, I've always collected Spider-Man. And I have this weird completionist thing. So it's like, I know if I skip a couple months, then like 10 years from now, I'm going to be like, well, now I have to find those issues that I didn't get because I need to fill in the holes in my collection.
Yeah.
So in my head, I'm like, I just will buy them now so I don't have to do that in the future, which is stupid. I get it. It sounds dumb. And it is.
Well, no,
to be smart.
Yeah, I mean it's the same with buying figures. Like I messed around and didn't get the X-Men 97 Cyclops when it was on pre-order because I'm like, it's a Marvel Legends. It'll be around. Sold out everywhere.
That trailer, man.
Well, it's just, I mean, maybe. But I think a lot of it was just like people have been waiting for a good Cyclops between like as far as like a 90s Jim Lee Cyclops, there was the 3-pack. It was like the love triangle packs, what they called it.
Mm-hmm.
The cell shaded one and this one. And the cell shaded one came out 2 years ago, I think. and
One of them had a jacket, the bomber jacket on it, right?
that's the love triangle one.
Hmm.
But anyway, yeah, I mean, there's just a big span, and every other one is like the Uncanny X-Men or like all these other one.
Where's the full cowl?
Yeah, everybody wants the yellow one, so yellow and blue. So anyway, I'm like, well, shit, I'm sure I'll see it. I'm not that worried about it, but that's the Cyclops that I love, you know. So I kind of feel like I should.
You always say
that.
You're always like, I don't even like X-Men, man. Why am
I don't.
X-Men?
It is weird. It is weird. I just, you know, just speaking of nostalgia in general.
Yeah.
That is one of those things that I have an affinity for.
Yeah.
But I don't really care about it. I don't read it. I don't really watch that much about it. I've seen all the movies or most of the movies. But for some reason I'm like, yeah, gotta have Cyclops, gotta have me a Wolverine, Nightcrawler, of course, Colossus. I don't care about the girls.
Bishop, I'm just gonna say it for you.
Yeah, I've got a Bishop. So for all you listeners at home, we just both took a drink at the same time. I'm gonna leave that in. That was that moment of silence.
Just to let you guys know that we're real people. This isn't an AI generated podcast.
Yeah.
Speaking of nostalgia, man, this episode is going to sort of be about it. We both suffer from it. I think I use the word suffer because it's just kind of annoying sometimes.
I would say that's a perfect adjective to describe it.
And we'll get into it with this episode. This episode is inspired by a dude bro online, and usually I tease these guys, I kind of poke them and make fun of them, but this one genuinely, so I don't know, woke up on the wrong side of the bed this morning. I was kind of busy with like work stuff, and it was like the first thing I saw when I got online to escape from reality. And I won't mention the actual name because people like this don't need any sort of promotion, right?
I will. It's shit stained McGee. No, also, suffer isn't an adjective, I don't think. I think that's a verb. Yeah. Just saying. I said adjective earlier, and I'm like, oh,
so you guys know.
Somebody's gonna think I'm stupid.
Just so you guys know, Simon is a smart dude. The meme, if this episode is inspired by a meme. So this morning, as I mentioned, I woke up, did some working stuff. This morning, woke up annoyed, did some working, did some work. Work was kind of stupid for a Friday. And the first thing I see when I get online is this meme. This guy posted, he said, and the meme was the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. At the top, it says, "Can we take a moment to appreciate that we grew up with this?" And it was a picture of the 1987 original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles animated series. Love it. Classic. I feel like I wouldn't be the fan of the Ninja Turtles that I am today without that show. No way. I was a baby when the first movie came out. So there's like, I didn't watch it in theaters like the people that, that got to see it. I don't even think I've seen the second one in theaters. I couldn't have. I was like a baby still. Mm-hmm. And so it says, "Can we take a moment to appreciate that we grew up with this?" Picture of the 1987 TMNT animated series. And then it said, "And not this," a picture of Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which is the most recent, at the time of this recording, animated series, which gets mixed opinions online because of the style of the turtles and the animation in general. It's widely different than anything we've seen before, and even I will admit I didn't watch it for a while because it was just like, maybe it's not for me, maybe it's for a new generation, which it is. Maybe I'll skip this one. But then actually I saw the movie on Netflix because for some reason they put the movie on Netflix. Watched that, loved it. Then I went back and watched the entire series, and I was like, this is actually pretty good. And I realized that I am extremely biased because I like most things Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I even like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3, the movie. So, and I don't hate the the Bay Turtles.
Yeah, you're gonna bring that up every time about how much you love 3. You
I bring
love
it up in
the
almost every conversation.
yeah, you love every third movie that everyone else hates just to troll
Yes.
people. Just to you
Yeah.
like
This one,
force yourself.
that TMNT 3, I genuinely think it's a decent movie. I think it goes back to what they were trying to do. If you really watch it, there's a lot of bad stuff with it,
Yeah.
but as far as like the story wise, it's closer to the first movie than Secret of the Ooze is.
Yeah, I definitely think there's something good buried there. For sure.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say I think the bad outweighs the good. Not to get
Yeah.
on that soapbox and tangent, but
I can see. I won't disagree with you.
but anyway, Scott Elias, whatever his name is, he's cool.
Yeah, that dude, good actor.
Yeah, that dude.
So, I think the topic of conversation is like, do we covet this Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles from 1987 so much that nothing else matters, right? Nothing else will ever hold up to it. And is it even that good? I know you've rewatched more of it than I have recently. It's a lot of topics of conversation, in my opinion, because my thing is, what I commented on it, I was like, I don't think these people that are making memes like this and posting things like this have even watched any of these shows. It's like the other angry people on the internet that talk about the Marvels before never seeing it, or just before it even comes out. They're judging these books by their cover. They have no idea. They talk about I heard someone say, or I saw someone say that the 2012 Ninja Turtles sucked. No, it's like, dude, there's no way. I'm all about subjective opinions, but there's no way you're telling me that show sucks. You know, maybe you didn't like the animations. The 2012 Nickelodeon one.
Oh no, yeah, that one's. So
There's no way.
The only thing that makes me hate that cartoon is that it's on the Paramount Plus, and if you don't have no ads Paramount Plus, every 5 seconds it's a fucking Nickelodeon ad, and that's too much. But that's what ruins the show, not the show. The show is actually really good.
Yeah, I'm watching 2003 Ninja Turtles for the first time probably since it came out, and there's a same thing every 5 minutes. It's a quick little Nickelodeon ad. I'm like,
too much. Well, true, and I don't know. The only other thing about the 2012 is like it's like every other cartoon. It really draws out. You know, sometimes it's like I thought why are we doing this again? But anyway.
My thing is that show for most fans, like I mentioned, for me it was what made me a fan of the franchise. And then as I got older, I dove into the Mirage stuff, and I grew up reading the Archie comics, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Adventures. Then as I got older, dug into like Mirage, eventually IDW, all the stuff that's coming out now. And it just sort of like stemmed into reading what I wanted to and watching what I wanted to, and realizing that show did come out in the 80s. It was good. I loved it. It's iconic. But they had the 2003 show. Great. They had the 2012 show. Great. We're not going to talk about Next Mutation, even though it was the only franchise on TV to cross over with Power Rangers. Everybody, you got to give it points for that.
I loved it. At the time, that's all I wanted.
I remember being a kid, man, like passing out.
Yeah, dude. That's all I wanted.
And then you had 2012 and then Rise. We're about to have a Mutant Mayhem show, which I'm sure they're going to complain about that because they complained about the Mutant Mayhem movie before it came out.
Yeah, God.
But it's like, there is so much ninja, and we've talked about it before, how silly this is as a premise for Ninja Turtle. Like, it's a silly premise for it to be so popular. It's insane. But there's genuinely so much turtle content out there that is enough for everyone.
Yeah.
Like, if you don't like Rise, that's fine, man. It's cool. Go watch 1987 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. that doesn't mean that it's bad because you want to watch a show from the 80s in 2024.
Yeah. For sure.
That's the basis of this episode. Going off of like, we're going to talk about the original animated series a little bit because Simon and I have different opinions on it, which I'm excited about. We're going to talk about the shows throughout the years because we've watched them all. We're both huge turtle fans. And then we're going to talk about,
we're big turtles and we're fans.
Yeah. It's just like the turtle. Imagine a turtle in the middle of a fan instead of the fan blades.
He's on the end.
And then we're going to talk about nostalgia. Nostalgia, such a hard word to say. Nostalgia. And like the problems with it, if there are any problems. If that's cool with you, Sam, that's what we're going to do today.
Yes. I mean, I'm here.
Wednesday Toast. One thing before we jump into the episode, I want to talk for the people listening. I have really been appreciating, I don't know if you've seen them, you don't really get on threads, but people will be making toast and they'll queue up the episode and be making toast and they'll make like a post like a
toast post.
Listen, yeah, like a toast post for the new episode. We've gotten a few of them this week and last week, and they have really made my day, man.
Well, that's awesome. Thanks.
That is awesome.
Crumb bums, right?
Yeah, I want to get like a custom toaster with like our face. You know how you can like get the pictures burned into it.
I think you can make that happen. I'm sure somebody on Etsy is doing that.
I think that would be freaking great, and then do like a giveaway.
Jeez.
Yeah, I'm gonna look into it. It's funny, man. You gotta. It's oh man. So, time. Let's talk about the original 1987 TMNT series. Now, a lot of people love it, and this is a strong argument, right? Can't you be grateful that we grew up with this instead of this? Mm-hmm. Objectively, the action, the animation, even though it's more, the Rise is episodic, like the original 1987 show. It's silly, like the 1987 show. It has more action. The animation is better.
Yeah, the animation's nuts.
You know? And I don't know. I don't see how you can have I don't know what the problem is. It's because girls are in it.
Yeah.
That's what it is. Not like hot April O'Neil in the latex suit that she wore all the time.
Yeah, like rain jacket suit. She's like Catwoman in Batman Returns, but instead of she was bitten by a wild newscaster and
I imagine. Do you remember that on the old show? Do you remember that Ben Affleck Daredevil in the alleyway joke that we made? That's how I imagine she sounds when she's running. I was recently playing the Shredder's Revenge game.
Yeah.
As April, and I was just making that sound, and every time she would move, I was like.
Well, we have that same jacket from Old Navy too. That's like.
Yeah.
Somebody commented at work. You're not the only one that comments on it about the swishy jacket. Somebody who was working told me that they could always tell when I was coming because they could hear me walking.
Yeah, it's the April O'Neil effect, man. Yeah. You love that old show. Let's talk about it. What do you love so much about it? Because I don't know if I do.
To me, and this is gonna sound like it's all from a place of nostalgia, but I really love that show and like Extreme Ghostbusters and stuff like that just because of the animation. There's definitely, you can tell when it's farmed out a little cheaper. You know, there have been flaws with the episodes where the bandanas will be the wrong color for the voice, or there'll be like two Donatellos, weird stuff like that. But the episodes themselves, I feel like generally are animated really well. Not everything makes sense. I mean, there's one where when they first get the party wagon, they take it to the Channel 6 in the building and they're like driving around on one of the floors. and there's like nothing on the floor, and by the perspective, like the party wagon's only 3 feet
Yeah,
tall or whatever. But I think like the main cells of the animation are
yeah.
really, really well done.
I'm always looking for them, man. You can get like original cells from like auction houses and stuff. I'm always looking for it. They have a bunch of Ninja Turtle ones, but they're usually the misprints or the mistakes where they're like painted differently.
Yeah,
I'm looking for a solid one of like Donatello.
I
I
want a
agree with you.
smear frame. Those are my favorite. Like the smear frames, the
Yeah,
blend. Those are the cool
yeah,
ones.
those are cool. I For me, it's like Dragon Ball Z when I think
Hmm.
about it, and I've recently watched a bunch of episodes of the original '87 cartoon, but it's like Dragon Ball Z in my opinion because I remember being obsessed with Dragon Ball Z, but hating every other episode because it was like we got a really great animation style. I love the way the characters were illustrated. I love the action sequences. And then the next episode, they would have like a skinny neck Vegeta with his big
Hmm.
bulbous head, and he would be 3 feet tall.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Then they switched because they were cranking out so many episodes. They switched animators every 3 or so episodes. And for me, there were some episodes of the Ninja Turtles that looked almost like an anime. Right? It looked so good. And then there were some that looked like they like, oh, we're just gonna dial this one in and reuse some cells from a previous episode and
yeah,
just layer it on top.
yeah. Definitely.
Which I know they did, And so I don't know. I I get that it for me it does have a big play in the memory that I have of it. I remember being a kid and obsessing about getting all of the toys and like consuming as much of this franchise as I could. And obviously that still holds true because I buy comic books and I'm like constantly window shopping toys, living vicariously through you, luckily. But I love it. I did not to say that I don't love it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, you're just more critical of it
Yeah.
because you're
Yeah.
not
Well,
just seeing.
only because of the comparison. People
Yeah.
weren't saying
Yeah.
this is the greatest. We have went downhill from 1987 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I'm just like
Mm.
the episodes were the most random things.
Yeah, my favorite thing about most of them were like the New York accents, like with a quicker than the Turtle Gang. Like those were the Ninja
Yeah.
Turtles, the
And they
Turtles.
had Uncle Phil. No other show has Uncle Phil.
Yeah. Oh, there's a little more cheese left in the shredder. Shredder.
Shredder.
Yeah, one of the best episodes ever.
Oh God, I do love that episode. And again, I love silly. I don't want anyone to listen to an old episode and be like, that's the guy that likes Madman. That's the guy that likes stupid comic books. I like silly. They're Ninja Turtles. It's all silly,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah,
I just the argument that it's going downhill. It's what gets me because in the similar feed, there were people that were like, "Oh, you guys are arguing about dumb stuff." I grew up with the black and white Mirage Turtles. It's been downhill since then. I'm just like, maybe you guys just don't like the Ninja Turtles anymore.
yeah. Which is fine.
People need to be okay with like, I don't like that anymore. I'm okay with like disconnecting from the franchise.
Hey, you know what I don't like anymore? Kanye West. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, right.
used to
Yeah,
really
that's a
like Kanye
perfect.
West. Don't like him
That's
so
a
much anymore.
perfect. That's a perfect example. I'm not gonna spend the next 40 years of my life telling everyone on the internet.
Yeah.
I was a fan at College Dropout, but guess what? I don't like them now.
Yeah.
I
Good
don't
thing
care.
I grew up
I
with,
just
I don't know. I might do that. Good thing I grew up with this instead of like Adolf Hitler, Kanye West.
yeah. Yeah, if the Ninja Turtles were promoting Adolf Hitler now,
Yeah.
then yeah, that would be a warranted meme.
Yeah. Yeah. If they were doing anti Semitic stuff for sure.
And it was just weird comments in there. So if you're listening to this and you're one of those weird comments, I don't even apologize. It was a weird comment. Someone was like, I watched this with one of my nieces. I watched every single Ninja Turtle show and movie with my nephew. and the only one that he didn't want to watch was Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And I'm like, that's that's fine. I'm not saying that you have to like everything. That's not my argument.
Maybe he's just trying to stop hanging out with this creepy uncle that all he was like, you got to watch this one too, buddy.
Yeah, right.
I was like
I'm like,
chaining him to a
I
chair.
had the opposite. You know, it's subjective. I had the opposite experience. My son loved that show. I didn't watch it, but I also wasn't like, hey man, that's not the real Ninja Turtles. You need
Yeah.
to turn that off.
Yeah, you like ground him. You're watching this
Yeah.
and this alone.
Yeah. And
Get to
once I
watching.
sat down and watched it because he loved it, I was like, you know what? I can see it. I can see how you enjoy this. It's a good, I'm not even saying it's the best show. I'm just saying I watched it. I thought it was fine. I enjoyed it.
If you can't quote the first season of the regular Ninja Turtles, you are out of this house.
Yeah. You probably could though. Only because I do it so much. I love it. There's been a long time. Maybe I'll sit down and do a rewatch. There's a lot of this, you know, because there's sometimes that I'm supposed to be working on school or something, then I'll just watch like a YouTube video.
Mm-hmm.
YouTube put every episode and every season of Power Rangers on online for free, so that's dangerous. Not saying it's good.
Yeah, definitely not.
Not saying it's good, but talk about nostalgia. I'll run through some of those old episodes for the fun of it.
Pluto had a lot of those old Super Sentai, like the original. And that's what I was
I
watching
love Super
for a
Sentai.
little while. Because, and I don't know if they still have them all, but I was watching the Zeo equivalent, like the Super Sentai.
Yeah.
And that was pretty good. But it's
Yeah,
weird.
I'm trying to get someone to do a rewatch with me of the entire Power Rangers franchise.
Dude, I don't know, man. I don't know if I could deal with the Vulcan skull for the first 3 seasons. Like, you know.
Yeah. That's what people love, though. I feel like Power Rangers has the same, gets the same reaction. You know, like this is the, not that it ever got so big that, you know, it didn't hit the same sort of stride that the Ninja Turtles did. Of course, it has its big fan base. Of course, you have the Tokusatsu fans, Super Sentai fans, Power Ranger fans. It has a huge franchise, right? But it didn't get into mainstream like the Ninja Turtles did.
Yeah, I mean,
Ninja Turtles has like 7 movies.
Right.
You know, they never really.
Well, and I don't know who still watches it. You know what I mean? Like, do kids enjoy Power Ranger still, or is that like?
Yeah, my son likes it, and so kids, I would imagine, still like it. That Saban dude, he's a terrible dude. So I don't know if he still owns it, but he's the worst.
Yeah.
And then they Netflix was putting out the first fully American Power Rangers show. It was a season called, I don't know what it's called, but apparently it was so bad because they didn't realize that the best parts of Power Rangers were all of the Japanese action scenes. No one really gave a shit about the American like teen drama that they tied to.
Yeah, that's like the
what are you doing? You cut out the best part.
Yeah, that's the palate cleanser between the explosions.
Yeah, it's like, what are you doing? You're taking out the best parts. Sidebar.
That's silly.
A lot of people, you know, they tried to rebuttal me and say, hey, man, so because I like all the Turtle shows and most of all the comic books, right? They're like, did you like Next Mutation? At the time, I watched it, man.
Yeah, if we're talking pure nostalgia, yeah.
I'm not saying it was good. I'm not saying any of these are good. It's all subjective. Words like good or bad are subjective. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Somebody likes it. I think it fits into like that Tokusatsu fan base. I think they could really take it because it's kind of like, I don't know. I was watching an episode recently and they just have like a lot of the animation, like wah, 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 sounds.
Yeah.
Added into like every movement to everything. And I feel like it would be a decent show if they dubbed over all the Turtles' voices. The Turtles' voices are bad, and they took out all of the animated sounds. I think the show would be all right.
Yeah, that usually bothers me. Anytime I see that anything, that or a laugh track, I'm done. I'm not gonna
Oh
watch it.
yeah, it's hard. It's hard. The original animated series is good. It's iconic, right? No
Well,
one's
yeah.
arguing that. Never said that. But it's definitely not the best.
Yeah, and even to say good, I feel like again,
It's
like you said,
subjective,
that is subjective. But
It
I mean,
is.
it is iconic, and it definitely served its purpose at the time, and it's of its time. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
And the good thing about, and what I think people more people should focus on, is the good thing that the Turtles franchise has done is that they have reimagined their franchise every so often
Mm-hmm.
to strike gold with a perfect generation. You know what I mean? They get to that age where it's like, okay, we got a new group of young children that are going
Yeah,
to latch onto this.
yeah, and a few
We
adults.
hopefully, if they can get past the 1987 voice actors, though, I will say that the Turtles voice actors in the 1987 series are some of my favorites.
Yeah.
Like without a doubt, they're great. And the second big era of TMNT was the 2003 one. Now,
Mm-hmm.
we were still young. We weren't kids though in 2003,
Junior high, right? No,
junior high. So I was
no, no, no. We were
high
in
school.
high school. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
We were like
yeah.
sophomores.
I don't want to trick the audience and say that I wasn't watching cartoons. I still watch cartoons, so
Yeah,
that had never stopped.
it's like
I was definitely still I was definitely still watching
if
cartoons.
TV watching was a diet, it would my diet would consist of 90% of cartoons and like
Yeah, yeah.
three.
I will scroll past like any live action thing to find a cartoon first,
Mm-hmm.
and then I'll be like, oh, I guess I'll watch
And
something with real people in it.
and if I'm watching YouTube, it's usually an analysis of a cartoon or like
Yeah,
a recap or something.
same. 2003 was a hit, man. It was sort of like it was zany 87, then we had the movies that people loved. The movies got zany, and this took it back to what people thought Mirage was.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they always go back to. We want the dark and gritty giant teenage mutant ninja turtle.
Yeah. Uh,
In
yeah.
2003, apparently, it's supposed to take it back to that. We talked about it before we started recording. People love it, and I didn't realize until this uh, thread online that people love the 2003 Ninja Turtles.
Yeah. Yeah.
What do you think about the franchise
Well, I
or
think
that
that I
part of the
think
franchise?
yeah, I think it's interesting because I mean, like, I don't know if he listens to this show. He used to listen to our old show, but one of the guys in my turtle group really enjoys the '03 Turtles, and until he started talking about it, because he talks about the Super 7 figures that they're coming out for that line and how they're supposed to be double jointed and like the best Super 7 turtles ever, and he lives and dies by it, and I'm just like, man, I did
Oh,
not.
they're making '03 Turtles.
Yeah. Playmates put out they remolded or used the old molds and put those out too, but
Hmm.
anyway, yeah, I didn't realize that anybody liked that one like that, because
Yeah,
he's like a year old or a couple years older than me, so I just assumed everybody around our age was all on the same page as far as like this is the one we grew up with, so it's probably your favorite, maybe not, but I mean like
yeah,
the nostalgia rules. um but yeah, he talks about it a lot, and I think it's funny because the '03 was good, and
was good.
they brought in some stuff like the Purple Dragons and Baxter Stockman, like that was a whole dark storyline.
Yeah, they did Shredder different. He was actually an Utrom. Spoiler alert.
Well, I don't have to watch it now.
All right. So they did some cool stuff. They did Karai Shredder. I'm sure they've done it in multiple. I know they've done it in multiple franchises or versions of the franchise. It was good. It got zany though, and they tried to
Yeah,
rein it back into kids. So
that's
they took them into the future, where it's
yeah,
like
into
TMNT
space,
fast
right?
forward. Yeah, Well, space is always sort of their thing. They always go to space in most of the franchises. Or I keep saying that it's all the same franchise. Most of the versions of
Yeah,
the
and
turtles.
I think that's even, was it you who said that? Like even the Mirage comics, they were like in space pretty
Yeah,
fast.
they fight the uh Triceratons,
Hmm.
and Fugitoid's a big part of it.
Yeah, Fugitoid was like their first comic, right?
Yeah. Yeah, the Eastman and Laird's. It's good, but like I said, they go to, then they're like, "Oh, we need to we sell toys. That's what the Ninja Turtles are about. We need to get back to that." So they take them into the future where they can trick them out with different versions of the turtles so
Hmm.
we can sell different toys.
Yeah,
And then after that didn't do too well, they had Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Back to the Sewer, which I think only lasted for a season. I think that was around the time we were graduating high school, and even I wasn't, I started drinking then, so I wasn't watching. I wasn't watching it as I
by
watched it.
himself in
There's
his
a
house.
there was a dark period in my life where I abandoned cartoons for women and booze.
You
so
just terrible time in your life, I'm sure.
so dark, very dark period in my life. So I wasn't even watching that. I couldn't tell you anything that happened in any of those, but I remember the intro was like they were back in the sewer. That was the whole premise. They're back from the future, and they're riding through the sewer. One of them has a BMX bike with like a helmet and shoulder pads and knee pads.
Got to be
The other one
safe.
has the other one has a razor scooter.
Mhm.
Those terrible things that destroy your shins. Razor scooter. One of them obviously had a skateboard, and the other BMX bike, razor scooter. It was just like all that kind of stuff. Like we can sell these as their own action figures. The intro turtle,
Yeah,
and then it's like no one's buying this. No one wants this show anymore.
I mean, I would have bought a BMX Ninja Turtle if it were well
Would you
made.
buy? Would you buy the razor scooter, Mikey?
Yeah, I would. I would. If it were a good, like, well made, like if NECA or Super 7, because Super 7, what I do like about Super 7 is that they will dig deep for the references that they're going to put in that box.
Yeah.
So they would make a
Oh yeah.
Michelangelo that's going to have a razor scooter, and the razor
Yeah,
scooter is
that'd be
probably going
cool.
to be well made. So
Yeah. That franchise is good. I didn't realize people loved it so much. It had a story arc where they meet Usagi again, like they do in different versions of the Ninja Turtles. I think it's a staple. I
mhm.
always love that. But it was fine. And even with 2012, I missed that completely when it came on. Like when it
Yeah,
was on TV, didn't watch a single episode. I think they put it on Hulu years later. I think I had moved to Austin already. And we were talking about it a long time ago, and you hadn't watched it yet either. And I was like, you should probably check it out, man. It's pretty good. And I'd watched the entire thing probably over the, back like every day I was putting it on in the background or something. Got really into that because it had references to video games, the old Mirage stuff, the movies, so many different references. I was like, this is the perfect show. Like it has
yeah,
something for everyone.
yeah.
And I get that some people can't get past the animation style. Maybe that's what it was for me too. The same thing with Rise. Couldn't get past the style of it, but once I got past it, I was like, this is actually pretty good.
Well, yeah, I think what a lot of people get stuck on is like, there are a lot of people that don't necessarily like anime, and a lot of these, we've talked about it before in the last couple of episodes, is like how, you get like the 2012 turtles have like, they get the big round wide eyes and like the sharp teeth and stuff, like the anime like shocked face or like angry face and
Yeah.
like stuff like that. And
Yeah.
I think
Crying
Rise,
face and stuff like that.
yeah, Rise is kind of bad about that. Mikey is kind of annoying in 2012. He kind of gets on my nerves, but he's also funny. Like there are moments. He's too much.
Yeah.
Um, the
Like he's an annoying character, man. He's
Yeah, he
an
is
annoying
just
turtle.
he's just annoying. I think that's the problem.
I like that he's technically the best one though.
Yeah, I
Like
like him.
he's always beating the crap out of the rest of them because he has like the I don't care, the not drunken monkey, but he has the sort of he's so laid back,
Well,
and the rest of them are stressed out about winning. Because even
Yeah.
in the movie, he was the only one to tap all of them.
and what? And
In the
Rise?
first movie, when they're in the first movie, the live action movie, when they're in the field.
I don't know.
You gotta rewatch that movie, man.
I don't feel like that happened. I feel like you're making it up.
Okay, we're gonna watch it. Next episode, we're gonna do a rewatch.
We're just staring slap jawed. Yeah, because we love it so much. I do like in the 2012 one where he's like, when they go to Dimension X and he like knows the ins and outs and how to survive, and he's
He
like,
survives.
Yeah,
yeah,
that's pretty good.
And he's also, spoiler alert, the last Ronin. He's the only one that survived, so he technically is the best turtle. The rest of them died like suckers.
I think it's because everybody's aiming for the best, and he just is the rest.
I don't know.
And then he had
They all died. They all died kind of lame ways.
Yeah.
Leo got exploded.
Yeah, he just blew up.
Donnie got mowed down by arrows. Him and Splinter died together.
That's
and
Splinter's fault, man.
Raph got, it was Splinter's fault. Raph got killed by Elektra.
Yeah.
Marvel.
Yeah. He got stabbed a couple of times. That was it.
like 100 times. Like inside his shell, the soft meat.
What's sad about him is that he just like sinks to the bottom of the river.
Yeah.
Like, how do you even know? He just doesn't come back. That's how you know he's dead.
He could be alive. What a twist.
Nah, definitely dead.
He's the new last Ronin.
He's turtle.
Because another spoiler. That's a good one. Another spoiler. Mikey dies at the end of last Ronin.
So he's definitely not the last Ronin. I mean, he is. Well, no, he's not, because he's dead.
We talked about, and so that, yeah, and so 2012, I think, is the best, subjective, because that's something for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
And Rise is just a perfect example of retooling the franchise for a new audience. You know, like what kids are into nowadays, as far as they like shorter episodes, they like
drugs, hookers,
they like wackier stuff, and then they like it fast, and they all have ADD, and they need flashing lights and all that stuff. They retooled this show for that very specific audience, and it fits perfectly. Someone had made a comment like, I watched Rise, and it doesn't have anything in relations to any relation to any other Turtles ever. And I was like, that's just not true, man.
Yeah.
Just because it has a different version of it doesn't mean that why does it have to be the same story retold for over and over?
Yeah, that's my thing. It's like it doesn't. I like some of the characters, that they come up with, like Meat Sweats and stuff like that, and like the snail. That's like that used to be a news reporter or something like that. That's all funny to me. But there really isn't that much. It's a whole new, it's kind of like Last Mutation, where it's like a whole new, what is this kind of thing.
And Shredder is this like ominous force rather than just like a dude.
Mm-hmm.
See, they're finding
I haven't gotten that far.
They're like finding pieces of this Hirokusaki armor. And that's what it is. He's not like a dude that controls the foot.
He's not a leg that controls the foot. He's an armor.
I think it's good. Did you watch the movie on Netflix?
I haven't. I do want to, though, because I see like
that's what got me into the franchise, man. It was good.
So just speaking on that for a second, like, people talk about the 87 being the best and all that. Animation's kind of spotty. Rise has some of the smoothest anime action, like badass shit in it.
I would say, and this is maybe a hot take, man, I would say that some of those scenes rival like actual anime.
Yeah, I think so.
Like the fluidity of like anime fights.
Yeah.
I think some of those scenes are right up there, man. It may be a hot take. I know there's some anime fans that
I think if they were to watch that,
a negative review.
Go ahead. This ain't an anime podcast.
Who cares?
Yeah. I think if you objectively, if you watch that final fight or whatever, the big fight that they're
Yeah.
having at the end of that, because that's the only clip I've seen, and that's why I started watching the TV show. And I didn't want to watch the movie without watching the TV show because I thought there
Yeah.
might be a connection. Um, but just seeing that part, I was like, damn. And then John Ralphio's Leonardo, shit. Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yeah, they got a good voice cast. I really like the voice cast for that series too. The movie's animation style is very crisp, just like that final scene.
And
And
yeah, and I
maybe
think
we'll watch that and review it.
oh, we
One day.
should. Yeah. I think it also is kind of cool because I've had this idea as well, is that the turtles are different species of turtles.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
like, Raph is like this big kind of like American snapping turtle. Donatello is supposed to be kind of like a soft shell turtle, I think.
yeah. He
And
doesn't have a shell.
yeah.
Like his shell, he made his shell. It's all robotic.
Hmm.
Shell.
Yes. So they're all kind of different. Like I think that Michelangelo is probably like a red ear slider or something like that.
Yeah.
I'm just making it up. I mean, that is an actual species of turtle, but I don't know. I
I
only say
like
that
that
because he's
too.
got markings on him.
Yeah. So does Leo, like in his face. I like that too, rather than the 87. Now, this is not me dunking on the 87. Again, I like the 87 show, but they all look the exact same.
Yeah, the best thing about the 87 show was the toys where they made Donatello black.
Yeah.
And the rest of the turtles.
That's one of my favorite. I remember very specifically, like, those kids books that come out, not the golden border, whatever those books are,
golden,
but they had like these they had these Ninja Turtle books, and Donatello was on the cover, and he's brown, like darker than me brown. And I was like, man, he's my favorite.
He's out here breakdancing and buying Jordans.
Breaking stereotypes. My ninja. He should have said that in the show. They should have made that joke, and he could have been the only one that says that.
Yeah.
That'd have been hilarious.
That's not your word.
So yeah, Rise, I think is enjoyable. I think, like you said, if people watch it objectively, there is something there. But if you're going into it like, this ain't the 87 Turtles, it's not. It's not going to be. No one ever marketed it as that.
Yeah, and I think even Splinter, his origins are a little different because he's
like Bruce Lee.
Yeah, I think that's kind of
essentially. He's Bruce Lee, but he still is tied to. They still tie it to like his Japanese origins of like his mother. I think his mother is Tang Shen.
I thought Bruce Lee was Chinese.
Yeah, but this character is Japanese.
Yeah. Okay.
He's not actually Bruce Lee.
Yeah. What's his catchphrase? Box soup or something. What is it?
Something. It's silly. It's supposed to be silly. And then you have the Mutant Mayhem franchise, which is going to be the next cartoon, which is the same style as the movie, but 2D animation.
Mm-hmm.
People were the same way, but when that movie was announced and the way the turtles look, they look stupid. They look gross.
I'm so excited, man.
It's not that I thought they looked gross. It's just like it was different, and I'm not against different. Didn't expect to love it as much as I did, and I know I am biased. I know I talk about the turtles a lot. Someone had commented on one of my posts the other day. They're like, "Man, I just want to see what your brain looks like."
Looks like a turtle.
All the things firing off whenever you see a Ninja Turtles thing. I'm like, yeah, man, that's my franchise. Everybody has their thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I like superheroes. Yes, the Ninja Turtles has always been my thing. And I cannot tell you how surprised I was to love that movie.
That movie makes me cry every time I see it.
It's so good. I'm so excited about the show. I'm so excited. They announced the sequel is coming out in 2026, which is like, I don't know if I'll be around in 2026, but
well, I made it this far. But yeah, no, so to me, the best parts of that movie are like, the beginning, they really just want to be out in society, and they actually get to be, that is why it gets me so emotional. Yeah, because it's usually they're like, oh man, got to be the hero that nobody deserves kind of bullshit
Yeah.
that Batman stuff.
And they get like a little bit of like family with April and Casey, but that's it. They don't really get to.
Yeah.
Unlike I know that the 87 turtles get to like go and get pizza in the middle of the day. And
Yeah,
stuff
the
like
green
that.
bodies with big fat white heads.
Yeah.
Totally convincing.
Yeah, they get to be normal people. I love that crossover that they did with the 2012 turtles. They're like, you guys can't just go buy a pizza in the middle of the afternoon. They're like, no, man, we're supposed to be hiding.
Yeah.
You know, like when they did the dimension crossover where the 1987 turtles went into like the 3-dimensional world.
Oh, I thought so. They've done that. I don't remember that one. I may have seen it and forgotten, but I know that they did that with O3 too, right? There was like a movie.
Yeah, it's called Turtles Forever.
Yeah.
And in that one, they cross over with the 87 turtles, and then the Mirage turtles join them at the end of it as the prime turtles.
Yeah.
But in the 2012 show, they also crossed over with the 87 turtles, and it was like two-parter. So three-dimensional turtles go into 87 and then vice versa.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
Which is funny because like Donatello and Raphael are the same voice actor.
Yeah. They mention that.
He shouts,
or they
like
don't mention
me.
they don't mention it, but they make a nod. They make a nod to it.
Yeah.
This
stuff.
I think we need to just that the fans that make comments like that are a small minority that aren't technically even fans of the franchise. So some people get online and they like to, they don't have a lot going on in their lives. And so any sort of reaction to them is human connection, So they can say something that they know is going to piss people off. Not even piss people off. It's just they're just being annoying, right? And then they'll be like, "Why are you guys? What? You pissed? I pissed everybody off. Why is everybody so angry?" It's like you are intentionally being annoying, and then you're like, "Why are you mad at me?" It's just, I think we just need to collectively mute those kind of people or block them.
Yeah,
just let them be in their own sort of echo chamber.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you do it,
but I do it.
But I don't feel like you do it with the same kind of malice that a lot of people do. Like you do it to fuck with all that, like to bring those people out of the woodwork.
Yeah, it's usually to mess with those people because the normal people that I interact with online usually know that I'm messing around, and I don't do it too. So if someone like joins the conversation that has never talked or been a part of one of those like random trollings, and I try to let them know very quickly, like, "Hey, man, I'm joking. It's not serious." Like the other day, Peacemaker recently joined the Mortal Kombat roster, and then quickly online, people were like, "Oh, we know how Peacemaker got sent to the Mortal Kombat universe because they do like the stills from the game." And the character Eclipso essentially sends him to the Mortal Kombat universe, DC character. But in the image, he looks like Green Goblin. And at one point I made we talked about it recently, the Peacemaker and Orion joke that I pissed a bunch of people off with.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh, this is the perfect time to do it again. I was like, the Green Goblin sent Orion to the Mortal Kombat universe and nobody seems to be talking about it. And this dude just jumped in the comments and he was like, are you a fucking idiot? He was like, that is Peacemaker. You're combining all these different universes. That is Peacemaker. That is Eclipso. And I'm like, hey man, I did it a little bit. I was like, you're saying that's Peacemaker, the guy from the Justice League Unlimited show? And then I posted that picture of Orion, and he was like, no, I know that's Peacemaker. And he was like, and I said, hey dude, I'm fucking with you, man. I'm joking. That's it. It was a joke. I thought it was clearly a joke because I said Green Goblin. Like he's not obviously not Green Goblin.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would like to think that I do it differently, because I think the internet's not real.
It's not.
And it's easy to make those kind of people mad rather than like, I don't know, two sides to the same coin, maybe.
Mm.
You know, I'm the light, they're the darkness.
Yeah.
In my story.
You're not trolling for reactions. You're trolling to, well, I guess you are, but you're trolling to like expose these people for being
Yeah.
like, obviously I'm kidding. How could
Yeah,
I
I'm
have a
making fun
comic
of
book
them.
podcast and
Yeah.
not know these things?
I'm making fun of them usually and how much they care about it.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Maybe we are like, maybe I should cut those guys some slack.
Again, you're not doing it just to be a, I don't know.
But I also don't,
I
honestly don't feel those things. Like that guy, maybe he loves that 87 show so much. I don't care about a lot of stuff.
Maybe
that's
like,
the difference.
That was the only time he felt loved is when he watched the 87 show.
It is. Maybe I need to be more compassionate. I feel like I'm a usually compassionate person. I'm gonna go apologize to that guy right now. We'll be right back, folks.
Yeah. Ba, ba, da, ba.
Let's wrap this thing up. I'm gonna tell you, Ben. I think that we
said.
all just need to embrace that there's something in this franchise for everyone.
Yeah. Yeah.
There really is.
And it's really like every franchise. You know, a lot of people don't like Return of the Jedi, but that wasn't for you. That was for the kids that were coming up then. And it's great. And you know why it's great? Because Luke has a green lightsaber, and that's one of my favorite colors. So that's why Return of the Jedi is one of my favorite Star Wars movies.
You know, some people don't like a lot of people don't like any of the Star Wars movies.
Yeah, that's true.
I think that's my thing. It's like maybe you don't like Star Wars. Maybe you don't like these things.
Yeah, I think that a lot of people don't like. They wouldn't like. They probably haven't seen the 87 show in a long time, and when they do watch it, they watch it while doing something else, so they're not like centered in on it.
That's what I do.
But you know, one thing that we can all agree on is that one of the best mutant animal shows ever made is SWAT Cats. And I think that that is something that everyone can agree on.
I don't know. I'm going to push back on that, man.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
SWAT Cats.
That's the next episode. That's the
so
next
good.
episode.
So good, dude.
That's the next episode. That will be an upcoming episode. We could talk about those 80 shows in general, like Street Sharks, SWAT Cats.
What would you say is better than I gotta get your take right now. I gotta get it now. What would you say?
Better than SWAT Cats?
Yeah. Animation wise. I don't think so. I can't agree.
Yeah.
All right. Got another battle for another day.
Yeah, I was gonna say, but this is gonna turn into a whole other hour because I like SWAT Cats. But I remember being a kid and like, they're not gonna get out of the fucking plane. And then there'd be that episode where they get into the motorcycle. I'm like, yes, they're on the motorcycle. I was like, they're not gonna. I didn't realize in the 80s or in the 90s that they couldn't punch. Like cartoons, they weren't allowed to punch. So it's like they had to be in the plane.
Yeah, they could shoot.
They had those gun fists where they could shoot missiles out of their.
That was a cool part. Fist. That's a cool part.
Maybe it's because I could never get the action figures or the toys.
Yeah, they're expensive too.
Maybe that's why. Maybe I was butthurt by that because I legitimately had. They're the only Ninja Turtle toy that I can think of that I didn't have was the Turtle Blend.
You can buy it right now, man. Do it with that adult.
I think about it all the time. Hanging it right there next to my other Teenage Mutant stuff.
I miss the. I had this convertible Leonardo car.
Oh no, I did not have that either. We talked about that. There was like a shredder one too, right?
Yeah, well, there's like a footmobile. I don't know about a shredder car, but there. That was the.
We'll look that up on the after show.
That was my favorite turtle merchandise. I think that.
Yeah, we talked about that. It was that, and we also talked about the Donatello mech that I loved. That was one of my favorite toys as a kid.
Oh yeah, I had the Leo version.
Yeah,
so good.
Loved it. We're circling the drain, folks. I'm biased, 100%. If it's turtle related, I love it, and I am like those hardcore MCU fanatics that I make fun of so much, because I understand it. I get it. This franchise to me could do no wrong, and That's why I have Simon to keep me in check. Even though Simon is currently playing with a Ninja Turtle action figure that I don't have. I'm a poser.
I can't stop touching it.
We're circling the drain. To wrap things up, we talked about the 87 show, why it sucks so bad, and why it only went uphill
after they went Red Sky.
Yeah, it went uphill instead of downhill. Why nerds should give these other shows a chance. And we talked about some of our favorite aspects from all of these shows. Simon, where can the people find you?
You can find me on Instagram. You can find me some on TikTok. Sime_on_toast. SIME. I've been trying to post more on TikTok, but I don't get a response really. So I'm like, me.
I don't either. It's a tricky app, man.
Yeah. Yep.
Gotta dance.
Gotta
dance with your toys.
I'll start doing it.
You can find me at Wednesday Pool, usually at some platform at any given time.
Yeah, fighting with nerds.
Making all the people that care about stuff too much angry. That's it, folks. We're circling the drain. If you want to write in, if you're on Spotify and you want to write in like suggestions for future episodes, you can do that. We have one that we were going to do today, but I wanted to put a little bit more prep time into it.
Prep time.
So maybe the next episode, but keep writing them in. Keep preparing your toast with the episodes. I love that. I might have to do something like that similar on the days that we release. I like toast.
Yeah. Maybe if you listen to it at night, eat some toast, have a toast of champagne.
Toast. Cheers.
And a bubble bath and listen to the episode. Listen to our sultry voices.
All right, guys, we're circling the drain. We will see you next time.
I didn't even hear it. Say it again. See you next time. So close. See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.